Hey everybody, Glenn here from Good Movie Monday. Welcome to another one of our summer series videos where we talk to some filmmakers and creative talents alike. And we are joined today with Eddie Beyrouthy, who is the director of a new documentary called Beyond the Wasteland, which looks at the fandom of the Mad Max series. Hey Eddie, how are you?
Good, thank you, Glenn. How are you?
Really good, mate. Thank you for taking time to talk. This is a fascinating documentary, and I just wanted to begin by asking what your own personal attachment is to Mad Max.
Mad Max as the franchise as a whole. I've been a Mad Max fan for as long as I can remember. I was born in the mid '80s, so I was still fairly young. Just a few years after Mad Max 2 was released. But I've always had this fascination with with the open road, with deserts, with the outback. With Australia's backyard, I guess. And I guess to see a film that just embraces the um you know I guess the vast landscape and the open road was always an interesting avenue to sort of go towards, but also the fact that there was cars, and there was V8 muscle cars, and and there was this sort of post-apocalyptic dystopian world. It was just everything in one. It was just a perfect recipe for we'll say disaster, but disaster in a positive way. um, Obviously, I've always been a Mel Gibson fan as well. Really enjoyed Mel's work, but I think the with Beyond the Wasteland, the attachment there was so it all sort of began in August of 2018 when Bertrand we were developing a few other projects, and Bertrand called and said, "Hey, there's a series of 40th anniversary events coming up in 2019, being 40 years, and are you interested in a few sort of short videos?" And that's all it was meant to be, just following Bertrand from A to B and C and D. But then we looked into it. Phil Lambert, who's my co-producer and my business partner, we looked at it both and said, "Hang on, this is more. There's more to this than just what's on social media." And there's a huge fan base, and there's a massive following, and it just sort of grew from there. So yeah, it was interesting to.
That's incredible. You preempted about three or four questions of mine, so we can tick
Okay.
them off the list. That's good.
Yeah,
No, it's
yeah.
fantastic. Because I was going to ask you about Bertrand, because I've never seen someone embrace their role in a film as much as he has, and it was albeit a small role, but he really really sort of took it with him wherever he went. And I was going to ask whether you set out to make a film about his journey, or if that just sort of evolved, but he came to you. That's pretty incredible. How did he sort of tap into your world?
Well, he's I've known Bertrand for quite a while, for a good 15 years. And we've worked on a number of other projects outside of Beyond the Wasteland, and
Yeah.
he was a passionate human being who was always proud to be involved in the film industry, and proud to be involved in in entertainment, and entertaining people. He's a fairly he was a fairly flamboyant character, so he had his style, which was always interesting. But he basically, I mean, the project was always Bertrand's journey, or he always wanted to do something big, and finish off on a big bang. I mean, he was he was diagnosed with stage 4 leukemia, so he knew that time was of the essence in a way. And it was always meant to be just a trip from Queensland to Maryborough and Clunes. And then I thought to myself, hang on, this is a documentary. I'm going to go completely unscripted on it, and we're just going to surprise him along the way, because he had no idea we were going to Silverton, let alone for the Mad Max 2 celebrations. It was just a, "Hey Bertrand, I'll just meet you at the airport, and let's just drive to Victoria and see what happens along the way." And he met so many. He originally went to one of the earlier Mad Max celebrations, which was in 2008, which was the 25th anniversary, and I think he was the only actor there. There might have been one or two other crew members, but he was always a person who was proud to showcase that he although he played as the very smallest role, it was somebody. It was a toe cutter gang member who didn't even have dialogue. It was just the crowbar man, and he just made it into this huge sensation, and he was proud of that. And he was also proud that he had designed all the motorbikes, or all the fairings, to make him look as futuristic as possible, as he says. But I mean, he was always a person, a media sort of entrepreneur. He wanted to really get out there and and he was just proud to be a Frenchman and to be an Australian as well. So yeah.
Yeah, no, you tell a fantastic story with his little journey there, and you take the film from all different kinds of events and gatherings, and you meet all kinds of fans around the world. How many of the events did you attend that were pre-established, and how many things on screen did you have to sort of orchestrate for the film? Were there any orchestrations?
So everything that was shot in Oz, the 40th celebrations in Maryborough and the 38 years for Silverton, for the Mad Max 2. So we basically, we had a script, we had a structure, but we just wanted to keep it almost, keep the element of surprise, and even for us, so we met a lot of the fans that you see in the documentary along the way. We had organized it through with the organizers of the Mad Max 40th and Silverton. And then Leo and Steve Schultz, who run the Silverton Collective, would say, hey, go and talk to this person and go and talk to this person. So a lot of that was planned, that we were just basically, people that were just, we almost jumped into a van and just, hit the open road and followed these guys and follow these, super fans wherever they went. And the international, I guess, leg of the tour was we met Yoshi and Jim Tank and Melvin in Oz, so at Maryborough and Silverton, and we wanted to know what, I was always fascinated with, how big is this cult following, or this following overseas. And then when we sort of, met with them and had a discussion, and that evolved over a number of months, because it wasn't a matter of, hey, let's book a flight and let's head to, Italy or France. It was a matter of, hey, what do you guys do? And we sort of quickly realized that these were almost the super fans of the country. So, Robbie's known as the Italian Mad Max, and Jim Tank's the, big Lord Humongous, internationally renowned cosplayer, and Melvin's writing a Mad Max Bible, and, Yoshi and Tomoki are these guys who just, embrace the Mad Max culture in Japan in their own unique way, through the, all the Kawasaki bikes, and through the, all the leathers, and, being, influenced by Jim Goose, by Steve Bisley, Steve Bisley's character. And then from there, we pretty much, we had 5 days in each country, and I just said to all the international super fans, hey guys, we've got 5 days. Show us your Mad Max world. Show us your wasteland. And we realized that there was, by the time we got through it all, that no matter where you are in the world, you've got a piece of the wasteland with you. So whether you're from Italy or France or Japan or the US, you'll always take, a piece of that with you. And, Australia will always be the home for, the original wasteland, and it's where the seed was planted. But at the same time, it's an international following, and it's, international cult. And people are proud of it, no matter whether you're Australian or you're American or you're German. It doesn't matter. So,
the first time I realized how big Mad Max was around the world was I spent my my final high school years in Canada, and the first Halloween I spent there in America and Canada, people go to school in costume on Halloween. It's a big deal. And there were so many Mad Max and Road Warrior costumes. And I'm like, how the fuck do you know this? Because I was a teenager, and I'm like, I had no comprehension of how big this was outside of Australia. So, you were definitely exploring a vast world of fandom over there. But the Wasteland weekend that you visit is incredible. Like, was that an eye opener?
So we never had the opportunity to. So Jared, who runs Wasteland Weekend, because our filming production timing was off. We couldn't wait 3 or 4 months later. But what Jared did was amazing for the project. He organised a Wasteland Weekend car show in just near the LA airport, LAX, and it was incredible to see 100 or so cars turn up, and bikes, and it was just to give us a bit of a tease for what Wasteland Weekend's all about. And then we managed to source quite a bit of Wasteland Weekend footage, because we wanted to show the world, show the people who don't know, what Wasteland Weekend is all about. And pretty much that was really only the footage that we sourced through other filmmakers and people who supported the documentary. But Wasteland Weekend, I'm looking forward to visiting, to hopefully attending sometime in the near future. Obviously, with COVID sort of around at the moment. But from what I've been told from all the Aussies who have been to Wasteland Weekend and who would attend it pretty much religiously, it's just it's another world. It's basically the epicenter for post-apocalyptic and end of the world and sort of survival and action but it was all because of Mad Max.
Yeah.
And I mean, as good as as much as we're the land down under and on the other side of the world, or or tucked in the bottom corner, um, it was just incredible to see that people who just live and breathe Mad Max, go to all this trouble and and go to all this, and spend so much time and money to just embrace this culture, embrace this world. So yeah, it's
Totally. Well,
very
kudos to you, because that wasteland footage is augmented into the film brilliantly. It's seamless. So yeah, it looks really good.
yeah. Thank you.
And so traveling the world, and you've met an assortment of different weird characters and people. Was there any particular mob that was more fun, or the most fun?
The most fun. Look, I'll never forget when we met Spud and Aries. So they live on just on, I'll say somewhere in the Mojave Desert. So we were just told, okay, this is the Mojave Desert. This is the coordinates. Let's go there. And we're driving and driving and driving. We're like, there's no one out here. And this must be a joke. And then you get to this massive compound, which honestly just looks like a film set. I'm not surprised. Hollywood films haven't been shot there. And then you meet these two amazing people who are just so welcoming and so it's like, come on in, this is what we do. And over there's where Wasteland Weekends, where it happens. And Spud's this sort of, he's this genius sort of crazy kind of scientist and engineer who just builds things. And he was telling me one day there was he had, and this is I think this is what tops off the whole experience. He's got friends who work at one of the local air bases, like a military air base. And one day they just dropped off a massive jet engine, and I said, "Hey, you go, take this and try to, can you put it on a car and can you do something?" He's like, "Yeah, give me a few months and whatever." And then 6 months or so later, he just had this, F-14 or 15 fighter jet engine on a car, and he just welded up and put the steering wheel on the brakes. And we've got some footage of Spud firing it up, but at the time he couldn't, the brakes weren't strong enough or solid enough to stop it. So it was just like, we'll fire it up, leave it in neutral and see what happens. But it's just to see, the passion that these people have, and you almost want, I think what we're trying to do is let everyone else know who has a passion, who might be, almost an introvert or someone who's just a little bit shy about going out there. Just do it, because these guys have done it, and there's nothing wrong with, there's nothing wrong with not trying, and at the same time, Wasteland Weekend especially, and even with all the events in Australia, the Wasteland culture doesn't discriminate. They don't judge. There's no, we're all one, whether you're male, female, from different backgrounds, from different beliefs. It doesn't matter, and that's what was so inspiring about it. And whether you see it through a Frenchman or a Japanese person or an Italian, it's just that it doesn't really matter, I mean, I must say, I was recruited. They attempted to recruit me as well with all the leathers and everything, but I just, we just ran out of time at the time. But I do have a piece of the Wasteland with me that I'll bring out one day. But yeah, it was just
Awesome.
interesting. And yeah, so it's good.
Well, I can't think of a better note to sort of, end this conversation on, because I think the irony of Mad Max is that, it was a warning of sort of what can happen when the world falls apart and how it can turn people on each other. And yet here we are in 2022 when the world is actually sort of coming apart and Mad Max is bringing people together. So, I think you've made the film in a very timely manner, and congratulations. It's an eye-opener and it's unexpectedly poignant, and really, really well done.
Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate it.
And I think before we wrap it up, I think you've got a world premiere at the Coburg Drive-In on February 5th, if I'm not mistaken, and then you're touring the film around at various other screenings around the country, so people can get out and meet you at some of those. And I think they can find out all about them from the Beyond the Wasteland Facebook page. Yeah,
that's it. Yep. So we do have daily posts, and we wanted to basically have our world premiere at a Coburg Drive-In, at a drive-ins that has this sort of nostalgic feeling about it. It's from the 80s, and we're trying to bring all the cars back and all the people. So and there'll definitely be more sessions booked along the way. But I think it's the best way to have it. Especially it's summer as well, and we're all everyone's inspired to get back out there and to enjoy life. And so hopefully we'll see everyone there. And we've got some Mad Max cast coming along, and some of the cars are in the film as well. And some fans and cosplayers and everything in between. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting.
Amazing stuff. Looking forward to it, mate. And take care, and hopefully we get to chat again sometime.
No worries, Glenn. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
It's more than a film. It's a way of life.
Everybody fits in. I think everybody's trying to fit in somehow.
If it wasn't for Mad Max and then Wasteland, we all wouldn't be here right now.
You will know the vengeance of the Lord Humongous.
This type of passion, you cannot fake passion like that.
I had no idea that there was other people as weird as I am.
It's up to each and every one of us to have that determination to push ourselves through.
It fills people's lives, makes them happy, and that's Mad Max.
This was all I dreamed about. This is all I wanted to be, and here I am living that life.
I never thought one day that I would go back to the wasteland. Maybe the last thing I do.